talking about truckers, and that's where we turn our attention right now as Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy making an announcement today. I want to put up this post on social media saying, America first, safety first. If you want to share our roads, you need to share our language. As Duffy signed an order at a trucking event in Austin, Texas, announcing new guidelines to strengthen English language enforcement for commercial truck operators. Let's take you out to this event from earlier today in Texas.
Good morning, everybody. Sean Duffy here. Great to be in Texas. Love Texas heat. It's beautiful to be here at the Texas DOT headquarters and the welcome they've given us. I'm very grateful for. Just maybe a quick note, at US DOT, a lot of us look to Texas on how to do it and how to do it well. They're one of the bright stars in US DOT on a state that really does a lot of things very, very well. So I appreciate their welcome to come down to the great state and do this press conference. I'm also here with John Esparza, President and CEO of Texas Trucking Association, Todd Spencer, President of OIDA, Bruce Bugg, Chairman of Texas DOT. It's great to have you gentlemen with me as well. So listen, I think at least this administration understands that truckers are the backbone of America. 3/4 of our nation's freight is moved by trucks. 12 million Americans are employed in the trucking industry. It's a great job, a great pathway to build financial security and financial success, to raise a family. You can do that in the trucking industry, as well as not coming out of school and having $50,000, $100,000, or $200,000 in debt. You get out at a young age and you can start making a great living. Today we're here to restore common sense and safety to our roadways. For too long, misguided policies have prioritized political correctness over safety of the American people. President Trump, if you listen to him, he says that he puts safety first, and he does. He also puts America first as well. That means ensuring that our roadways are safe. The president's recent executive order is a clear statement. We support America's truckers and will safeguard our roadways for our truckers and for the American people. This means enforcing common sense rules and removing unnecessary burdens that hinder our truckers' work. So today, under President Trump's direction, we're going to take action. I'm officially rescinding the reckless 2016 Obama guidance on English language proficiency. We're going to replace it with stronger enforcement procedures. So federal law has always been very clear. Commercial drivers must be proficient in English. English is the language of opportunity in America. Allowing drivers who cannot read stop signs or understand police officers' instructions to operate an 80,000-pound big rig threatens the safety of every American on our roadways. There's numerous examples across the country where we've had people who are operating this kind of equipment who can't speak the language, and the results have been devastating and have taken the lives of so many American families. That's going to end right now. Instead, we are issuing new guidance that ensures a driver who can't understand English will not drive a commercial vehicle in this country. Period. Full stop. Enforcing out-of-service violations is about preventing tragedies and saving lives. So in 2015, before President Obama changed the guidance, over 99,000 drivers had English language proficiency violations. So almost 100,000 violations of not speaking English. 1,000 of those drivers were taken out of service. So let's fast forward to 2024. That dropped to 10,000 violations, and 0 were taken out of service for a violation of the English language proficiency. So think about that. That means we have let 1,000 of the worst offenders basically off the hook with a slap on the wrist. That's not going to happen anymore. We're going to put safety first. But the president's executive order on English language proficiency didn't stop there. So in accordance with the president's executive order, DOT is taking additional action. So number one, we're reviewing the security of commercial driver's license. Now, this is a state-by-state issue, but we do have a role, and we are reviewing the security procedures around how CDLs are given throughout the states. We're going to review non-domiciled CDLs, and we're going to improve verification protocols for both domestic and international credentials to ensure only qualified drivers are behind the wheel on American roads. The EO also directs the DOT to improve the working lives of truckers, which, by the way, I got to tell you, it's one of the most vocal groups of people I've heard from in my time at DOT. When they have an issue, they know how to use Twitter. They know how to use all social media. I hear from the truckers a lot, and this English language proficiency was one of the big ones. But they've also said the quality of life could be improved. You could help us out at US DOT to improve that for us. And that means looking at critical needs like truck parking, which impacts the lives of truckers every day on the road. There'll be more to come on this, but you can be assured that the DOT is committing to helping truckers and trucker safety. From not enforcing English language proficiency to broker fraud to non-domiciled CDLs, it kind of feels like the trucking industry has become the Wild West with a lot of bad actors who have been allowed to play in this space. We're going to end the play of bad actors, and we are going to support and encourage and prop up the great businesses, the great drivers, the great brokers that make this country work, that move our products, that make sure that we have a supply chain that functions and functions well in this country. So today's actions are a step in the right direction. We'll not compromise when it comes to safety. And I just want to, again, thank US DOT for being here. And I'm going to tell you, this administration, and maybe it brings me back to, President Trump, being shot in the face. And that's a moment where you can't think about that. You can't plan that. You can't orchestrate that. There's just something genetic that happens when you respond. And we saw our president stand up and put his fist in the air and say, fight, fight, fight. And I say that because our president has grit, right? This is an industry that also has grit. And you have a US DOT right now that shares that grit. And so we are going to work together and fight together to make sure we enforce our laws, make sure our roads are safe, and we take the bad actors out of business and off our roads. And so with that, I want to now turn it over to John Esparza, President and CEO of Texas Trucking Association.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Secretary, thank you very much. We appreciate the work that you're doing. It's clear that not just is do as well, and that's something that certainly is not lost on us in the industry, not lost on us from the prospect of what we're doing here at this beautiful campus with our partners in the Texas Department of Public Safety and our Texas Department of Transportation. So this is an issue that has been long in the works, something that as an industry we've been in communication with for years now. You heard the history behind it. The very basic premise behind what's occurring today is safety. Imagine you cannot, if you're in the enforcement side, you're unable to communicate roadside. This is something that's very basic when it comes to the attention of safety. We've joined our partners with the Texas Department of Transportation now for a number of years, and Mark, no deathless day, Mr. Chairman. That doesn't happen on our highways in this great state. Every day since early 2000, November, if I'm not mistaken, we have not had a day without a fatality on our highways. And as a trucking industry, we're here to do our part. There's a lot of factors involved with that, but doing our part is part of what we're talking about today and part of what the Secretary has also mentioned that we're going to continue to work on. When we talk about non-domiciled, when we talk about the instances of cabotage that are occurring out there, we're going to work in every area that we can so that this equipment behind you that's moving 80,000 pounds of freight on any given day on our highways, Mr. Chairman and Todd, that our families are on as well. That is not lost on us as an industry, and is why we spend time, energy, effort, hours of training on safety. We know that's how the trucking industry can do its part. And when we talk about English proficiency. We are talking about the very first interaction that we're having roadside. And what we see, given the great state of Texas that we are, and it's, you know, Mr. Secretary, it ain't bragging if it's true, you're right. But we share 1,250 miles of U.S.-Mexican border in the state of Texas, of the 1,550 miles in the entire country. It's happening in Texas here first. And if we're not taking the lead as partners with our TxDOT Commission, our leadership here in the state with enforcement, then we're not going to get any work done. So we couldn't be any more thrilled, not just to be announcing this critical announcement for the entire country, for the entire North America, quite frankly, right here in our home state of Texas. And Mr. Secretary, we can't thank you enough for the work that you're doing and the work that we're going to continue to do together. So thank you for the opportunity to share thoughts before you. And with that, I want to introduce my counterpart with the OIDA and Todd Spencer. Todd.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Todd Spencer, president of the Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association. OIDA is the largest national trade association representing the views of small business truckers and professional truck drivers in all states, and quite a few right here in the lovely state of Texas. I want to thank Secretary Duffy for hosting this important event, and I want to thank President Trump for taking bold action to put highway safety first by signing the executive order that restores English language proficiency as a core safety requirement for commercial drivers.
All right, just listening in there to Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy detail this new initiative, this new order mandating truck drivers speak English. Let's sign away for a quick 2-minute break. We'll get you back out to Austin, Texas after this. All right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. Thank you so much for joining us. A couple of Live Now looks, including there in our nation's capital at the White House, is coming up here in about 90 minutes or so. We'll take you out to these latest remarks from President Trump alongside Pete Hegseth. So we'll have these here in full on Live Now from Fox. This likely about this as President Trump announcing $25 billion in funding for the Golden Dome project. So this coming up in about 90 minutes. We'll take you out to that. Until then, let's take you out right back to one of those members of the cabinet, Sean Duffy, in Austin, Texas, talking about this new order for truck drivers to mandate speaking English. Let's listen in to this from earlier.
This requirement was gutted. The result, safety violations didn't go away. They just stopped being tracked. OIDA is advocating for returning English proficiency to the list of serious violations, and we've been calling on federal regulators to restore accountability and focus on real safety. And now, because of this administration's leadership, that's exactly what's happening. The executive order signed by President Trump is a major step forward for safety, not just for truckers, but for every person on the road. Complying with the English language proficiency standards doesn't mean you have to recite an encyclopedia, but it should mean you comprehend routine safety messages. Those can and should be taught in training schools, and tested for English proficiency isn't optional. It's essential and it's required. English language proficiency is required under regulations describing general qualifications for drivers. Unfortunately, there are far too many unqualified drivers being licensed and operated on the road today. Inadequate training combined with loopholes in state testing protocols result in drivers who lack the basic skills. Whoops. Got one more here. Well, in conclusion, again, we want to thank the Secretary. We want to thank the Trump administration. And I need to have a shout out here to Shannon Everett and American truckers for turning a light under this whole issue. And working together, we'll improve highway safety. And we've got a lot of work to do, but we're ready, anxious to do it. Thank you. Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. Todd, thank you for that. And John, thank you for your remarks. Secretary Duffy, welcome to Texas.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
We are so glad to have you in Texas. And let me tell you, Texas is all about relationships. And we have been looking for a partner in U.S. DOT for a long time over the last several years. We are glad you are in Texas with us today. And I commit to you, we will work together as partners. Absolutely. Well, good morning and welcome. My name is Bruce Bugg, and I am honored to serve as the chairman of the Texas Transportation Commission. Governor Abbott appointed me in February of 2015, right after he was inaugurated, and it's been my honor to serve Governor Greg Abbott and be able to work with people like you, Mr. Secretary. We are working every day with our more than 13,000 employees at the Texas Department of Transportation. Over 13,000 men and women get up every day and make sure that we bring the best transportation system to Texans and also people that are driving trucks. We want to make sure that we are giving you the best experience. Thanks for the continued leadership, Secretary Duffy, in D.C. And maybe we didn't have leadership for a while. Thank you for restoring leadership is what I really should say. And I think it's going to be great working with you and working with the DOT in Washington, D.C. More than any other state in the nation, Texas has commercial trucks move more than 1.5 billion tons of freight every year. That's why we're hard at work at continuing to build our infrastructure in the state of Texas, and we actually have over $60 billion of road and highway improvements under construction in real time throughout the entire state of Texas. That is, I would say, Secretary Duffy, an all-time record for the state of Texas. And it just shows you how we are committed. The men and women of TxDOT who join me today are committed to making sure that we are deploying the best infrastructure to keep our state growing as rapidly as it is. And we also want to applaud President Trump. It's just common sense what President Trump has done. And thank you for coming to Texas to sign what will implement common sense for everybody that gets on the highway. We all are using our highways, whether it's, personal vehicle or you're driving one of these wonderful trucks that we're looking at here. But we all have a shared responsibility, the way I look at it. It doesn't matter if you drive an 18-wheeler or you drive a little Volkswagen. We all have a shared responsibility when we get on the highways to do the right thing by the drivers that are beside us, by the drivers that are passing us. Whatever it is, we all have to, we're in this game together. So President Trump acted immediately. This was so important. And please tell the president how much we appreciate him taking these steps. So once again, I want to welcome you, Secretary Duffy. And I would say it's a warm welcome, but it's a heartfelt welcome. Let me put it that way. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all. Hope you all have a great meeting today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
All right, let's slide away for another quick 2-minute break. We'll hear out more comments from Sean Duffy here on Live Now from Fox from Austin, Texas, after this.